Hey everybody, here's the video I've had a lot of people ask me about is my interpretation or what I think a true, ninja sword is. I just want to say that I'm not being biased to any specific school, any person, any country, and actually no one at all. This is just what, from the books I've read, the information I've gathered, and not just from martial arts books. I'm talking from archaeological sword books and, historical reference. This is not just books on ninjutsu, books on Japan. This is books on just the sword period, not just the Japanese sword. We're talking all swords and archaeological finds. But one of the big issues that people always ask, are wondering, was the sword straight or was it curved? What I 100% believe is that the sword was curved, and this is mostly due to the fact that at that time period in Japan, they were not creating swords that were straight anymore. There is historical reference and archaeological finds of straight swords in Japan, and I'll show you an example from one of my books. It's kind of hard to see, but that sword on the bottom, that black one, that's actually a photocopy of a sword found in the, what does it say? In the 6th century in the Hygo province by Professor William Gowland, who's a notable archaeologist. So they did have straight swords, but we're talking 6th century AD. And that's not being made up. That was, found and dated by, an archaeologist who doesn't care about ninja, samurai, Japan, Korea, China, Central Asia, whatever. So do I believe that they were curved? Yes. Do I believe they were not as curved as when the Japanese first started making curved swords? No, I don't think they weren't that curved. This was dated in the, let's see, what is that? I got it written down. That was dated to like the 9th and 12th century. You go more towards the Edo period and the 15th, 16th, and 17th century, it was a slighter curve. So, do I believe that they were curved? Yes. So I'll get that out of the way. Now, there's all talks about straight sword, long handle, short handle, metal suba, leather suba, leather like that, all that stuff. Overall, ninja carrying a long sword, don't see it being very practical. Now you can see there's that's the shinobi sword. I mean, that's a long sword. And trying to sneak around, if you're in a house or whatever, up in the rafters, that's a big sword to be trying to sneak around with and worry about. So I don't think that they had a long blades. That and it just doesn't seem practical. Handle length, I don't think it was as long as a katana, just as of ease of use, and like I said, trying to get into small areas and places like that, you don't want to worry about a huge sword to be doing that. Leather suba, they might have. Do I really think they did that? No. I don't believe that they did. If anything, I think they took something like a small leather piece like this and attached it to the outside right there to soften. But overall, I don't think they used those. Some might have, but did every ninja do it? I doubt it. I just don't see that being very, once again, practical. If I had a sword that I was also using as a tool, as a stepping platform or whatever, I'd want it to be steel or metal. I wouldn't want to rely on leather. I know the leather can be very strong and very durable, but I personally would just go with leather. So, all in all, there's a lot of different books that I've looked through. Here's the Shoninki, where it references what type of sword to carry. Here's a Japanese book, and we've all seen, the straight-bladed one right there. And there's other books like this one by Hatsumi, and I bookmarked it, and you can see his sword right there, which is got a slight curve to it. I did find something very interesting. I'm not gonna say it. I want to see if anyone else catches this, because I don't think anyone's said this before. In this book, page 93, look right around the second paragraph, about two or three sentences in, and see what that says. If anyone's got that book, I want to see if anyone else notices that. So, all in all, I don't think that they were straight-bladed, because they were not making straight-bladed swords in Japan at that time. They haven't done it for a couple hundred years. If they were straight-bladed, then it was probably a homemade just lump of steel. That what I wouldn't really consider a sword, it'd be more of a tool. So my idea of a ninja sword is something that would be easily carried, not cumbersome, something people wouldn't notice, something that everyone would carry all day, and that would be this. Just a wakizashi. That's it. This is something that you could carry inside of a house, because normally you would have to leave your katana outside. Most people walked around with these. Even merchants or travelers would carry something like that, or maybe a longer style tanto like this. This is a lot longer than the Chines one. Back that up a little bit. Something like that. No one would pay any attention to someone having a wakizashi or, a longer tanto. Just makes sense to me. So, what do I believe that the ninja actually carried? I think it was a wakizashi. Not a long-handled one, just a normal size handle. If you put your hands on, this is about a 7-inch, 7-inch handle. You can fit 2 hands on it. So, that's just my personal idea of what a ninja would carry. It makes sense to me. I mean, who would pay attention to a merchant, if they had a wakizashi compared to a merchant that was carrying a katana? I know in some periods of Japan, you weren't allowed to carry a katana, so if you carried one of these, no one would notice. And the only reference I found to a wakizashi as a ninja sword, and where it actually says in it wakizashi, is in the Shoninki. It says that, probably can't read that, But it says during secret missions, it is advantageous to carry a short sword, wakizashi. I totally believe in that. I think it's the most practical and the most useful. They're smaller, and they're not too small in the same manner. They're not obvious if you're carrying it. A lot of people carried them. And you were also allowed in a lot of other places to carry this, considered to a katana. Even if your katana was a short-bladed one, they might not let you carry that in some areas, but a wakizashi, they probably would. So, whether I'm right or wrong, doesn't really matter. That's just my thought on what a sword that ninjas would carry. Take it or leave it. I know I'm probably going to get some comments on this of people not liking it, but oh well. That's my idea of a sword that a ninja would carry, and that's about it. So I hope I don't get slammed too hard for this, but oh well. So, hope you guys liked it. If you didn't, you didn't. If you did, you did. So there it is. What I think a ninja actually carried is just a plain old wakizashi. Unsuspicious. So, that's about it.